Good evening. Thank y'all for attending the 2025 SGA Final Lecture. If I could, since we're trying to fill up a little bit, if y'all have any seats closest to y'all, if y'all can scoot all the way so we can have some open seats for some last minute people coming in. Thank y'all. Each year, the Auburn student body elects a final lecture award recipient during its annual spring elections. The final lecture award was created to give all students the opportunity to participate in a teaching award given on behalf of the student body, recognizing faculty who have made extraordinary contributions to Auburn University through the classroom teaching in service to the university. This award recognizes one of Auburn students' favorite professors and gives them the opportunity to present a short lecture on the topic of their choice. The event is meant to give students an opportunity to hear one final lecture from their favorite teacher before the semester ends and before they graduate. To be nominated and elected by students is one of the highest honors students can bestow upon a faculty member. This year, the student body elected Dr. Eric Negengard to give the final lecture. Dr. Negengard serves in the Harvard College of Business as an assistant professor in the School of Accountancy. Dr. Negengard is a tremendous asset and advocate for the College of Business and for Auburn University. His research and teaching focuses on innovation in technology and accounting, which stems from his background in forensic accounting. Earlier in his career, he spent 7 years at KPMG investigating alleged white-collar crimes internationally. Before coming to Auburn, Negengard served the University of Virginia McIntire School of Commerce for nearly a decade, where he developed several data analytics case studies that were adopted worldwide. He also helped elevate their data analytics offerings, which ultimately helped the MS in Accounting program become STEM certified. He's a sports enthusiast, a husband, and a father of two, enjoys scuba diving, boating, and riding dirt bikes. So without further ado, allow me to introduce the Student Government Association 2025's Final Lecture Award winner, Dr. Eric Negengard.
All right, thank you all for coming. It's quite an honor to be selected for this award, and I was really just worried that anybody would show up, so thank you all for being here. I definitely didn't think I would have an opportunity to present in this room nearly this soon. Honored and humbled that you all came to watch me give the final lecture. Before I get going, I want to say some thank yous. Thank you to Griffin McGee for nominating me. Thank you for the students in my intermediate class for voting for me. Thank you to my colleagues for showing up. It means a lot to me. And I think it really shows that I'm in the right place here at Auburn. So thank you all. Thank you to my wife for coming. Thank you for not bringing our two little boys, because they would think I'm a real nerd standing up here. But hopefully I have a good message for you all. I promise not to talk too much intermediate accounting, if at all. But when I won the award, I was kind of challenged to leave you all with some parting words of wisdom. And I'm going to start by asking you what you think of my height video. Weird, okay. Hopefully, some of you feel a little bit skeptical about it. And I'll come back to that halfway through my presentation. But I want to talk to you. The title of my presentation is Trust in Your Tiger Stripes. I'm going to kind of hold that in my back pocket for the time being, and I really want you to think about the importance of relationships and trust, because when I reflect back upon my career and what's most meaningful to me and why I've chosen the path that I've chosen, it's really all about relationships, and relationships are what form trust. Okay? So I'm going to start by talking about you, me, and technology. And as any good academic would, I'm going to start with talking about me. Okay? I'm going to do this to try to establish some credibility. I know probably about half of you had me in intermediate. I think the other half of you, I owe you a night of cornhole on me, because you gave up cornhole Beta Alpha Psi Social. So I promise, hit me up maybe someday this summer, and I'll have some fun playing cornhole with y'all. But thank you for coming. So to establish, those of you who don't know me, so I'm from a really small farming community in Indiana. I grew up the son of 2 school teachers. Pretty humble beginnings. I went to Indiana. My parents were kind enough to support my 2 brothers and I through college. We all 3 attended Indiana University. I studied accounting, finance, and international business. I don't think I really knew why at the time, but a large part of my presentation today is to try to impress upon you why and kind of the path I chose. All right, so I studied accounting, finance, and international business. I interned at a firm called Arthur Anderson, who, when I was a junior at Indiana, had the biggest audit failure in the history of financial markets. They audited a company called Enron and largely violated the trust of the public. Lots of people lost their retirement savings. It was a big ordeal. It led to major changes in the accounting industry. And it set me down a path of, hey, I thought I had a job at Arthur Anderson. I'm sitting here my senior year at Indiana. I no longer have a job because Arthur Anderson is no longer viable. They were indicted in federal court. Basically, the firm was dissolved overnight, and all of us employees lost our job. To make a long story short, my group at Anderson went to KPMG. I was going to Anderson to work in their their forensic services practice, and KPMG picked me up. And I spent the first 7 years of my career doing forensics at KPMG. So what is forensics? We basically investigated white-collar crime. So we were hired to either shadow the SEC when the SEC was investigating companies, or quite honestly, a lot of times the companies would hire us to discover their dirty laundry so that they could self-report out and ask for leniency. But again, what was the context of what I was doing? It was all about trust. Okay? So now I want to talk to you a little bit about me. So I eventually left KPMG, decided I wanted to be an academic. I broke the only rule that my parents gave for my brothers and I. They said, basically, you can do whatever you want to do, you just can't be a teacher. So I broke their cardinal rule and decided, hey, I want to go teach, I want to go do research. I met many of my colleagues in this room at Virginia Tech when I was getting a PhD. The stars kind of aligned when I was graduating from Virginia Tech, and it allowed me to go to the University of Virginia, where I spent the last 9 years, and I moved my family here July 1st of last year. Couldn't be prouder to be an Auburn Tiger. We absolutely love it here, and mostly the sense of community. Okay? The relationships that we have formed, first of all, we were coming into a lot of pre-established relationships, but the relationships that we have formed here in Auburn are tremendously meaningful to us. All right? So enough about me. Now I want to talk about you, and more importantly, the technology and the intersection of you and technology. Okay? I believe that you are currently facing 2 diametrically opposed forces. And those forces come from technology. All right? What do I mean by this? I know from my life that in my career, the single most important determinant of my success has been my ability to learn and apply new technology. I saw it at KPMG, I've seen it in academia. I view myself as a technical evangelist. So I love new technology. I'm the first one to get the new Google Pixel. I'm the first one to download the latest software update. I want the latest and greatest tools, techniques. Okay? But at the same time, technology pulls us from interpersonal relations. It pulls us from relationships. Okay? So I'm here to tell you that, yes, your willingness and ability to embrace technology is going to be the single most determinant in your career. So you've got to spend a bunch of time learning and getting good at technology. But what does technology do? It pulls us away from spending time with people. And I pulled some statistics. I think your generation on average spends, I think it's 7 hours and 18 minutes a day on a screen. The high school class right behind you exceeds 9 hours a day. So if they're staring at a screen for 9 hours, that's 9 hours that they're not forming relationships. It's really hard to form relationships in the digital world. Okay? So again, I see these two diametrically opposed forces. One is you've got to get good at this stuff. You've got to embrace it. But you can't sacrifice the relationships that you need. 1, for success, 2, for happiness. And I'll get to the third piece here in a minute. Okay? So in my life, anybody a gamer in the room? Got a couple people, a couple guys that are like okay admitting that I love to play video games. So in my, and this is just an illustrative example. In my life, I've gone from playing Pong. You guys know what I talk about when I mean Pong?
Oh yeah.
This is Andrew. Andrew's in the booth up there. Can you show us Pong, Andrew?
Yeah.
Yes? Like the first video game ever invented. The real gamers know Pong. All right, very basic game. The object is just to keep the ball from leaving the screen. You got to paddle on this side, paddle on this side. That YouTube video is actually an hour of somebody playing Pong straight. If that would be more enjoyable than hearing my talk, Andrew, put it back on now. Anyways, so in my life, I've seen we've gone from Pong to virtual reality that's indistinguishable from reality. So you can now put on a headset. I'm going to try VR. So the first time I tried VR was about 10 years ago. I put on a headset. It was a video of a roller coaster, and I almost threw up because I got so motion sick. But think about that. In my short lifetime, I'm not that old, in my short lifetime, in a digital world, we've gone from Pong to virtual reality that's indistinguishable from reality. What is that same change going to look like over the course of your career, over the course of your life? It's going to be faster, it's going to be more impactful, it's going to have a bigger magnitude. Okay? So again, two diametric forces. Kind of consider it, the contradiction of your lifetime is going to be, I need to embrace technology, I need to get good at this stuff, but I can't sacrifice, again, the interpersonal relations that only come from interaction with others. Okay? And when I was at the University of Virginia, I overlapped with a gentleman named Jonathan Haidt. He was on faculty for part of the time I was there. Does anybody know who Jonathan Haidt is? Anybody read any of his books? You know his books? Anxious Generation, The Coddling of the American Mind. I think his first book was The Happiness Hypothesis. He writes about everything that I'm talking about. Okay? And his latest book, I think it came out in 2024, is about you all. And it's pretty, it doesn't tell a real flattering story about your generation. And he blames this change that we're going through as a society for you all feeling anxious all the time. Okay? He blames technology, he blames my generation as parents for treating you all differently and making you feel anxious all the time. Okay? So let me ask you, what's the opposite of anxiety? What does it take for you not to feel anxious? It takes trust. It takes trust in your surroundings. It takes trust in others. And it takes trust in yourself. Okay? To further prove my point, I want to walk you through a couple things. Andrew, can you turn the volume off on this time? Or just down really low? So, funny story. As I was preparing for this, first of all, my mother really wanted to come, and I said, yeah, no, not going to happen. Okay? So she texts me on Wednesday, and she says, just so you can get a sense of, she's my biggest fan, my biggest cheerleader, but also my biggest critic, and I did not want her in the office. Okay? Sorry, Mom. Text yesterday at 10:54 a.m. Voice of experience. Speeches are 100% more effective if you have a prop at the beginning. Just a thought. Okay? So I put together, with artificial intelligence, a big piece of this technology that's trying to steal you, trying to suck you in, trying to steal you from interpersonal relationships. Okay? I went to AI. I have a subscription to LTX Studios. It's like $35 a month. You can make some really cool stuff with it. I uploaded one photo of myself. You'll be able to tell what jacket I had on in the photo. And 2 sentences that describe the essence of the final lecture here at Auburn. And I said, please create me a hype video. And it created this. And I was super impressed. And I know without a fact, or without a doubt, I can share this moment with my mom and she will think it is 100% real. I'm here to tell you there's not a single photo in here that is real. It's all created by AI. Alright? And those of you who have been here, I've only been here from July. Alright, look at my twins in the background. That's not the real Augie. His face is quite different. My mom would never catch on to this. Again, I have twins in the background. This kid's shirt's all messed up, like Auburn, the letters are rearranged. I'm definitely not that skinny. It looks way skinnier than I am. Again, fake Augie, my guess is there's some trademark rights there. I don't know if these buildings are 100% true. I showed this to my wife, and she was like, whose office is this? Like, that's awesome. So I wish those of my students in here, you know my office isn't nearly that tidy, nearly that clean. Some weird lettering here. Those are definitely not my kids. My kids are way better looking than that. I do have that pen. That's kind of, that creeps me out a little bit. Like, hey, Dr. Long gave me that pen. James, Ashley asked if this was your office. Lettering on these books doesn't make any sense. The banners in the background are totally illogical, kind of look like they're from the 60s. But hey, in my prompt, I said I was going to talk about credibility. This is probably about the time when you're like, all right, yeah, this is definitely fake. I'm going to talk about self-orientation. I look like a hunchback there. Those of you who know me know I would never show that pose. And by the way, I'm missing a finger. I don't know if this lecture, I've never been in here, I don't even know if it exists on campus. Hey, they got my hair color correct. Somehow, all they had was a picture of my face, but there were a couple extra buttons. I would definitely not wear my hair like that, it's way too stylish. You guys get the point, but again, this came from a 2-sentence prompt, and probably if you're not an Auburn student, you would have been super impressed by this. Instead, it might have creeped you out a little bit. You didn't trust it. You knew not to trust it. Right? I hope. Maybe I impressed some of you. The dean says it was creepy. Was that weird? Okay. Hey, it finishes awesome though, yeah? Okay. A lot of school spirit. All right. diametrically opposed forces, and I want to put it in a little bit more context as to why I do what I do. Okay? So you all know at this point that I used to be a forensic accountant. I really enjoy teaching that type of stuff, and I really enjoy opening those potential career paths to future accountants, finance and accounting students. Okay? From a research perspective, I'm super interested in blockchain and kind of AI, cutting-edge technology. Does anybody know, question for students, do you know where we got blockchain? Where it came from? Has anybody heard of Satoshi Nakamoto? So 2009, somebody by a pseudonym of Satoshi Nakamoto writes a paper, publishes it on some online forum, and creates this concept of blockchain and Bitcoin out of thin air. What's Bitcoin? So who can tell me what Bitcoin is? It's a cryptocurrency. Why does it need a blockchain? For trust. Absolutely for trust, okay? If I have physical dollar bills, I probably don't have any in my wallet, right? If I have a physical $100 bill, you're selling cookies for $100. You're selling cupcakes for $100. I want both, but I can only spend that $100 bill here or there, right? I can't double spend that $100 bill. But if I have cryptocurrency, in absence of a public ledger, in absence of the trust that a blockchain creates, I can spend that, I can double spend that $100 and get away with it. Okay? So in my mind, yes, there's a dark side of technology. We're trying to countervail that dark side with more technology. Okay? Dr. Jenkins and I, Andrew in the booth, we recently published a paper on how to use blockchain, smart contracts, and non-fungible tokens to communicate normally private information throughout a supply chain, throughout a value chain. Okay? And again, I'm just trying to just illustrate to you both the dark side and the real advantages of technology, so that then I can also convince you the importance of relationships, the importance of trust. Okay? And like so many things as academics, we actually have a formula for trust. Right? It's actually formulaic. And I quickly want to walk you through how we as academics view trust. Okay? There's 4 components to trust or trustworthiness. The first is credibility. This is why I talk about me. I try to at least impress upon you that I might be a credible person in this space. Okay? The second is reliability. The third is intimacy. And the denominator there is self-orientation. So if I'm looking to create trust, first I've got to be credible. Refers to the believability of a person or an organization. It's essential for trust. Right? You've got to believe that I am who I say I am. My height video is not very credible. And many of you picked up on that really quickly. My mother would never pick up. Guaranteed. Okay? Reliability is all about consistency, dependability over time. I'm reminded of, so growing up in Indiana, we hated Tom Brady because we lost a ton of AFC national championships to Tom Brady. But he has a famous quote, something to the effect of, to be special, you really don't have to do anything other than the unexpected, which is show up, work hard, and do what nobody else does. Do it every day. Okay? That's reliability. The third piece is intimacy, and I just don't know how you can recreate, whoever figures this out is going to be a very wealthy person. I don't know how you can recreate intimacy in an electronic world. The denominator there is self-orientation. So am I oriented to myself? Am I being selfish? Do I want to achieve a selfish goal, or do I want to achieve a collective goal? And the reason I put this up here is I really want you to think about how, in what's left of your time here at Auburn, you start to really focus on trust and relationships. I personally think it can only come from life's experiences with others. Right? You've got to find ways to do fun things with fun people, and boy, if you can learn some technology at the same time, you're killing two birds with the same stone. Okay? This isn't rocket science. You've seen this before. It's been in the Auburn Creed since the day you showed up at Auburn. All right? So I want to read to you. I believe in honesty and truthfulness. Sounds an awful lot like trust, without which I cannot win the respect and confidence of my fellow men. I believe in human touch, not the digital world. Sounds a lot like intimacy. Okay, which cultivates sympathy with my fellow men and mutual helpfulness and brings happiness for all. So some keys to success, at least in my eyes, these are some things that have really worked well for me. The first is I absolutely love to tinker with things. Tinkering, investing, it's painful to learn something new. We oftentimes struggle to pick up a new technology. We've got our blinders on, we just don't understand how it works, but you've got to find ways, you've got to invest time to tinker, and I would encourage you to tinker with others. So collaborate on new ventures, collaborate on embracing new technology. The second piece, that kind of dovetails into this, the second piece, rather than spending time on social media, social networking apps, gravitate towards productive technology. Okay? And when I say that, the statistics say that you all spend 8-9 hours a day on screens, it's not typically on things that are going to be beneficial to you in your career. Find ways to gravitate towards the productive technology, not the Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, TikTok. Really think long and hard about what do I need to learn to be more productive in my career. And then the last piece, I've got several really strong mentors in the room. I cannot stress to you enough the value of mentorships and friendships. And boy, if you can align those two things, it's extremely powerful and it will open so many doors to you in your career. Enough said about that. All right? All right, it's 5:30. I promised I wouldn't go over 30 minutes, so I'm going to wrap it up. Think long and hard about how to get back that thing that technology is trying so hard to steal from you. Technology is trying to steal time between you and other people. It takes that time, it takes that intimacy between you and other people to form trust, to form relationships, and with that trust and those relationships, you're going to be more successful, you're going to be more productive, and you're going to be able to achieve higher things. So thank you. I want to leave you with this concept. I told you I'd come back to this. I want you to trust in your tiger stripes. What I mean by that, think about every relationship you form as a new stripe on your tiger stripe. Okay? Every new person that you really create a bond with, that you really start to create and form trust with, think about that as a new tiger stripe. And with that, thank you all for coming. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Dr. Hector, for all your wonderful words, and we just want to present your 2025 Final Lecture Award recipient. So everyone give him one more round of applause.
True honor, I'm happy to take any questions. I'm also happy to let you guys go on your way. So, anybody have any questions for me? Well, like I said, thank you so much for coming. It means a lot to me. If there's anything I can do for you and your career, please use me as a resource. Thank you, everybody.